It's a pleasure and honor, and I always wanted to come to Cambridge. This is 14th edition, so finally I'm here. I love traveling around UK for meetups because you don't need to go for a security checkout and have a passport, and when your wife is driving, it's even easier. You can sleep. My story is like I moved to London in 2007, and since then I was working in different companies. And last year I decided to take a similar step, like Andrew said, to go on my own, mainly because I have a little one that was born. I become a father, and right now I can work from home, but also can have a bit more time to see how she's growing. And all the magic is happening in 4x4 room, which is my headquarters for SEO.London. And today my presentation is divided into a couple of tactics, and the whole point of this is that I would really like you to listen and then say like, okay, I can take this home and I can implement on any business, any website, anywhere I want. That's our tactics, which are my own, and I was using them for some time, and I'm using them with most of my clients, and I really feel that some of them will definitely work for you. So first one is a snapshot. What is snapshot? This is something like I'm initially starting whenever a new client is coming to me with a website, and surprise, surprise, the data studio. So that is something that I wasn't sure what will be the first presentation, but you can see that data studio is these days super popular, and I'm never using Search Console as Search Console. I'm always using Data Studio through API and Search Console because I can see much deeper, and I can also quickly divide brand keywords from non-brand keywords, but also I can group data by weeks or months. So here is an example, other website, zelezny.uk. And I'm giving access to my Search Console, and what I'm doing next, excluding, sometimes there are empty queries, some kind of bug, so I'm excluding empty queries, and I'm getting this beautiful table which is containing everything I need. So as you can see, we have keywords or queries, corresponding URL, and then we have impressions, clicks, and click-through rate. And the whole concept of snapshot is to understand where you're ranking already, identify these keywords which are ranking already relatively high, but not first, and just give them a little push, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. And if you will do this on a scale, then the boost in traffic is very fast. When I was changing my jobs, I was always stressed that the first day I was like, I need to prove that I was not only good on the interview, that I'm not like a kind of a con artist. I was just good because I can deliver quickly. And sometimes I was coming to the organization that been very negative about the SEO. And that really, excuse my French, saved my ass a couple of times. So we have impressions, clicks, and click-through rate. And this is how it looks in Excel, pretty much the same, but then I am using a double sort. So what I'm doing, I'm sorting first by landing page and then immediately by impression or clicks. In the example that I will show you here, I'm sorting by landing pages and then by impressions. Thanks to that, I will get this data in really good order. And I prepared an anim GIF, which I spent hours on, and this is how nicely sorted this is. So first homepage, and impressions are going to 1, and then when there is no more, then there is coming another URL, and it's decreasing to 1, and then another, and another, and another. And that way, I can start grouping them. Obviously, that's one of the method. The other method is pivot tables. I'm always saying that there is not a single day I wouldn't pivot a table. So this is an example, and this is how it looks. So for me in SEO, keywords are important, but not that important. I'm never reporting, by the way, on keywords positions, because clients are sometimes like, I would like to be in top 3 on keyword book. Like, you probably need to find someone else. But I'm reporting on traffic, but when I'm optimizing, obviously you need to have something that you will stick with. And you can see, like, here is an article, find SEO clients, and there is a very interesting, quite long keyword, which is called how to get SEO clients without cold calling. And I have 640 impressions, 47 clicks. And when I was checking this, I was like number 3 or number 4 in Google Co UK. So there is definitely a gap, a margin that I can write something on this page, on the existing page, find SEO clients, maybe additional paragraph, maybe some examples, maybe a case study, something that will make this page better, and thanks to that I will go up. The click-through rate is 7.34. It's not bad, but not crazy good. And I have other keywords here, so I can try to mix these keywords, I can try to use them in context and so on. Another example is SEO Snapshot method. So we're talking right now about SEO Snapshot method, and we have SEO Snapshot, 363 impressions, only 9 clicks. Definitely something is going here, but it's not something I should be proud of, especially that it's only one relevant keyword and there is very little clicks. So again, I'm checking where I'm ranking, and if I'm ranking not first, and in that case I don't need to even check results, I know that I'm not ranking first because of very low click-through rate, I'm trying to improve that landing page with more content. And here is a case study. So there is a little baby of mine, except of the real one. It's Social Media PL, a domain I'm very proud of. And I was using this methodology for that domain. This is a tool called Saluto. It's something like SEMrush or Searchmetrics or Systrix for Polish market. And here's the socialmedia.pl, and here's Sociomania, my competitor, the yellow one. And here is the first period when I acquired domain, or sometimes I'm saying before I told my wife how much I spent. So my wife was like, why are you talking all the time about the socialmedia.pl? I was like, you know what, take a seat, we need to talk. And then I started doing some content marketing, you know, and I was doing this and it was going good, and the number of keywords that the website was ranking in google.pl was growing. But then finally I switched to Snapshot, and you can see this nice growth at the end of the period, which is here. And just to be fully transparent, that this is not just a make-up kind of chart, or that this chart doesn't replicate on the traffic. There is a huge correlation. Here is a screenshot from Google Analytics. This is socialmedia.pl, and this is organic traffic, and you can see the same period kind of are, you know, correlated. So as a conclusion, you're using keywords that already rank quite well, because they need to rank to give you some clicks, yeah? You're leveraging quality traffic. First of all, if keyword is there for a long time and giving you some traffic, then according to Google, that's a relevant quality keyword. And then finally, you're playing Google game. You're using Google as your kind of SEO advisor. When we know that, we're going to SEO tactic number 2. It's a keyword magic tool. Anyone using SEMrush here? Raise your hand. We have a couple of people, great. So Keyword Magic Tool is one of the tools inside SEMrush, which I'm using with passion. And this is how it looks, nothing crazy. But when we start going deeper, it looks very interesting. So first of all, this pyramid, everyone once in their life saw this, like keywords by intent, and there is like awareness, interest, consideration, conversion, retention, advocate. I don't buy this. For me, I'm this green part, and the gray part is someone else. So here is like awareness, interest, consideration, conversion, and for me the best way to describe this is all the keywords with why, how, what, where, when, and so on and so on. Plus all the keywords that are non-brand keywords, yeah? So here is the primary audience which not necessarily know about your company, audience which is writing, for example, where should I go for holidays next week? And or where should I go for city breaks next month? And you're not mentioning any company, and you're trying to fulfill that hunger for an information by your website, by your landing page. And who knows Simon Sinek? Raise your hand. Okay, we have one person. So Simon Sinek is an amazing speaker, and he has an amazing presentation which is involved this part, which is a Simon Sinek Golden Circle. Start with why. And that's the context of this, is when you're opening your company, when you're opening your consultancy, when you're opening your corporate, any business, you should start from why. Why are you opening this? And why is in the center. Then is how, then is what. And that works pretty well when you are in the shoes of entrepreneur. But when you want to understand what your customer is thinking, this circle looks very different. And I wouldn't call this Lukasz Zelezny's golden circle. I just call this SEO golden circle, or SEO search volume golden circle. Now, it works a bit different. Now the size of the circle means how much demand there is. And anyone is bilingual here? Raise your hand. No, more than one language? We have 2 people, 3, 4. Yeah. If you replicate this and you will start analyzing data, and if you try to use word how, what, why in your language, you will see the same pattern. The how is always a dominant part, then is what, and then is why. And when I was showing this to my friend, my colleague, this slide, he was like, yeah, that must be right. I was like, why? You know, why is like philosophical? I was like, maybe yes, maybe that's true, but maybe let's analyze some data. So start from how, and I have 2 examples. This is the first example, HubSpot. According to SEMrush, HubSpot is ranking on over 1 million keywords, and 149,000 keywords that they are ranking contain word how, then what, and then why. And you can see that the why is fractional. People rarely asking why. They know what they want. They know this philosophical aspect of the problem. They want to know how to do things. And the second example, Shopify, another example of the big website which is doing content marketing great. So over 1 million keywords in Google UK, and again, how is almost 10% of all this pool of keywords, then what and why almost doesn't exist. I was preparing last week a similar session, and I was with Wix, and I was using different examples, BBC and Santander. And the Santander is very interesting. Bank, you would never think that banks are using this kind of how. They don't care. Of course they care. They understand how the content marketing is working, and they know that their customers also very often using word how, and then keywords maybe what and why is not that popular. So when we know that, we're going to Keyword Magic Tool, and we can write organize conference, US, click questions, and we can see that here start appearing questions with how to organize conference, how to organize call meeting, and so on and so on. We have search volume, we have keyword difficulty. Bigger search volume, more popular keyword. Smaller keyword difficulty, easier to rank. Here is another, London, questions about London, and here are questions that people are asking that contain London and are questions. So SEMrush can recognize what queries are questioned. And when I was preparing this presentation, I was like thinking, this is me like 3 o'clock. What is 3 a.m.? What is the most popular keyword with the lowest search, with the lowest keyword difficulty? Keyword that I can definitely rank without any efforts and is super popular. And I found one. And this keyword is how to cook broccoli. So if you want to start a website about broccolis, then you will be ranking quite high, but I don't know how to monetize that. That's how far I went so far. And here is, yeah, this is the example, you know, how to cook broccoli in ON, and so on and so on and so on. For someone who doesn't cook like me, very useful. And average difficulty, take a look, 0.02 is absolutely non-difficult. Pretty much you don't need even a website to rank there. And then you have, because of my mindset is like still in a price comparison website. I was working for many years in USwitch, and I know how difficult this area is. So, you know, if someone would come to me and say like, Lukasz, I'm trying to open a new price comparison website, you know, like comparing prices in this country is like national sport. People love this. The same like watching properties. Who of you was in the bed is like, Chepstow, 3-bedroom, that's nice actually. You know, that's me actually, yeah. So you would need to, going with like credit cards or balance transfer credit cards, forget about this. We have USwitch, Compare the Market, Go Compare, Money Supermarket, Money Co UK, and potentially like 20 other websites. You won't get there in the next 5 years. But there is some questions that you may try to jump between, yeah? Keyword difficulty doesn't exist. Search volume is relatively high. And for example, here, can you get cash back with a credit card, or how to pay off credit card? That's a good question. Can I get credit card with bad credit, yeah? You know, I know that there is one of the similar like describe a product that doesn't exist. It is no credit check credit card. Product that doesn't exist, but there is like thousands of searches. And some companies are monetizing on this because they are writing a guide which is starting like, so you're looking for no credit check credit cards. Well, let me explain. It may be not possible, but we presume that you may have little problems with your credit rating. So we have some other products, and even on a non-existing product you can monetize. Now, tactic number 3, brand mentions and links. One of my favorite tactics. But again, like a bit of story. When you have a Polish name and Czech surname living in UK, what could go wrong? Yeah. So I've been always like Zelensky, Zelensny, Zelenish. I was once Zelenish. And Zeleny is like very popular mutation of my name and surname. I don't mind about my name, but surname is like difficult. And it's very simple. It's like Lukasz Zelezny, so, like, I was thinking that everyone knows how to write this, but no. And I was thinking that this must have changed because I should have something easier. And I was even thinking about changing my name and surname to have like a common surname and like very kind of sophisticated name. And I even found one that was Archibald Smith. I wanted to be called Archibald Smith. I was like, that sounds so English. Hello, I'm Archibald Smith. And then I noticed that Archie was actually alive 100 years ago. Moreover, Archie is still ranking quite high in Wikipedia. On first page, actually, on the first position, when you type Archibald Smith, he have a Wikipedia page there. So not a bad SEO as for someone who is dead 100 years. And then I understood that there are brand trackers. And when you have a crazy name and surname, like Andrew said, there is no more Lukasz Zelezny probably. And then you can at least do some brand tracking. So I started from looking for a right tool. And there is plenty. Talkwalker, Brand24, Refresher, Web Explorer, Google Alerts. That sometimes works. And I stick with Brand24. And what I did, I just put as a keywords like Lukasz Zelezny with space, without space, with Polish, some kind of crazy characters, and so on and so on and so on. I created this project in 2013 and it's still running and collecting every time there is some mention that is mentioning my name somewhere around online environment. And why I'm saying about this, because if your brand or your name is unique, is non-dictionary, if you are not John Smith, if you are Archibald Smith, then you can set up something like that. If your brand name is Uswitch, Zoopla, Yahoo, Google, then that will work. If your brand name is Booking.com, Cheap Holidays, or Last Minute, probably won't. And you see, like I get a report, I knew where I mentioned on Twitter, Facebook, I could get always back to this Twitter tweets historically. And so on and so on. And then I realized that sometimes there are mentioned without a link, so I can reapproach these people and say like, oh, thank you very much for mentioning me. I'm overwhelmed. And by the way, can you link to my website? And like it sounds stupid, but one of my friends said like, if something looks stupid but works, it's not stupid anymore. So it really works. Like people are okay. They're like, yeah, sure, man. By the way, how things with you? I'm like, sorry, I'm busy. I need to send another email for another link. But it's quite successful ratio. And here is an example. There was an episode for one of the website where we had a podcast, and I was invited there. And I had the same project or similar project for Uswitch, and there was uswitch.com, but it was not linked. So I approached this guy and said like, oh, thank you for making this live. By the way, any chance that Uswitch can be linked? Yeah, no problem. Obviously, some of people might say like, this is not a relevant link. Like that was a reputable website and so on and so on. It's absolutely not a problem to have a link like that. And also that's linking on the brand name. So we are not trying to link on like credit card or cheap credit cards. And one day I was like that. I was like, what's going on here? Because I saw that one page that was mentioning me is this page. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, that must be Russian. I don't read Russian at all. I speak a bit. And more shots I have, more fluent I am. I have like neighbors, some have training sometimes. And then, like I was like, oh my gosh, that really works. And why I saw this? Because these guys used a Latin alphabet for usage and for Lukasz Zelezny. So I went there and I could see that here is a link to my LinkedIn. And I was like, guys, let's be honest, LinkedIn doesn't need links. It even is called LinkedIn. So maybe you can repoint that link to my website. And they've been like, no problem. So they repoint that, and since then we are friends. And then I went deeper and I started tracking this on Majestic, yeah? So for example, you can see that the amount of links started growing here. In 90 days, I received 6 referring domains. Maybe not crazy high, but that works. And then I went a bit deeper and I was thinking like, what about social media profiles? Obviously, when you're linking from Facebook or Twitter, that doesn't count as a SEO tactic, but I started analyzing how many backlinks from other websites is linking to your social media profiles rather than your website. And it almost made me an heart attack because that was my website, the SEO.London, when I launched, and there was 0 backlinks. And this is my LinkedIn profile, and there was definitely much more than 0 backlinks. So I first wanted to repoint backlinks that are pointing to this page to link to my homepage SEO.London. So what I did first, I had to identify what is my URL. My URL was uklinkedin.com/in/SEO Manager London, and I could see that there is 141 external links from 20 domains. So I was like, what domains they are? And that was like Zelezny UK, obviously, but site visibility, remoters, social medias and PPC Masters D, SMXL, Timecamp. So I was like, if they linking to my LinkedIn profile, I could approach them and say like, can you repoint this link to my website? So I did this, and some people were not only keeping that LinkedIn link, but also adding my website. So this is remoters.net, whose owner is Aleida Solis, my friend and very reputable speaker. And here is AccuRanker, and it was a very similar story. I had their link to my LinkedIn, and I asked them to link to zelezny.uk, which they did. And that way I could scale this up. And you would be surprised how many social media profile aggregate so many links through the years. And I'm not only talking about your private profiles, but also about your company profiles. Anytime someone from your company is speaking somewhere, or any news, anything like that, and so on, there will be plenty of opportunities. So I went to majestic.com again, and I typed SEO.London, and after 2 nights with a coffee and with lots of emails I sent, I had 11 domains linking, and my ranking started improving. And then I was like, hold on, I don't only have a LinkedIn, I have other social media websites. So I went to Facebook, nothing crazy, 2 domains. I was like, okay. And then I went to Twitter, and this almost killed me. 164 domains linking to my LinkedIn, to my Twitter profile. Twitter have definitely enough links, and you want to just kind of steal these links to work for your website, for your business. And then Facebook, again, there was a bit of links. So now why it works so well? Because in most cases, I noticed that I know people I'm approaching. It's like, oh yeah, I remember 2 years ago, you was writing this article about something and you mentioned company or me or something. It's easy to switch that link. It's like taking less than 15 seconds. Just log into your CMS and just repoint that link. It's relevant to switch from social media to your website. Very likely your social media profile and your website are talking more or less about the same thing. It's organic. Kind of. And you can save tremendous amount of time. And then I have this 5th tactic, which is like super secret tactic. And it's like super easy. But, frankly speaking, I don't know why it works, but it works. That's why I'm sharing. Merge subdomains into subfolder. Anyone done this before? No. So sometimes there are situations that client is coming to you and you see that the website is old, the website is not bad, looks nice, aggregate some links, but then you're getting deeper and you see that he have like, okay, main domain, and then he got FAQ dot, a domain name, and then they have a blog dot, and then forums dot, and everything is diluted, everything is somewhere else, yeah? And your role would be to bring this all under the same domain. So I have one client. He had let's call this domain.com, and then the blog was on blog.domain.com. And I noticed that both assets, domain.com and blog.domain.com, had about like maybe 5,000 visits. I was like, listen, let's move blog dot inside the /blog/ because there was lots of backlinks pointing to the domain.com as well as blogdomain.com. He had lots of interesting articles that been attracting links. And he was like, and what will happen? That will just move this traffic from subdomain inside the folder. I was like, not exactly. There is a chance that we will generate a massive synergy. And he was like, why? I was like, because it's like you're multiplying the authority of blog with authority of the main domain. And somehow, God knows why, it's like flowering, yeah. And we did this, and he was like, no, you know what? Let's move everything into root folder. I was like, what do you mean? All the articles will be sitting in the root folder. I was like, okay, but you know that may have problems to track this in analytics. There will be like a mess. He was like, no, I don't care. And we did this. And it was crazy because we moved all the blogs that had been before in blog dot to the main root folder, and we 301 everything from blog dot into /root folder. Yeah, and this is what happened. And this is the visibility from search metrics. It was really flat, and then he started skyrocketing. He called me and he was like, Lukasz, I don't know, I have too many leads. I was like, that's your problem. That's not my problem. Maybe turn off PPC, or maybe, you know. So it was great to know that he had too many leads. And that was one example. And then when I learned about that, and when I saw that it works so well, I had another client who had a very old job portal. Like very old. The design was like from 2001 and the forum was like from 97. But it was working quite okay, but he was losing constantly traffic. And I was like, listen, he optimized everything. The way I never seen such a good optimized website, but it didn't help. So I was like, listen, that's the last chance. We're moving forums into forums. He wanted to move this to root folder, thanks God, and we did this, and take a look what happened. He was losing here for a couple of years because he was like going like that. And then the moment when we moved this, it skyrocketed, then went a little down, but he was still way above the initial baseline of the visibility. And you could also see this in traffic because it was working really well for him. And then results, another customer who became an industry leader in the 6 months. So here we done another migration. You can see that this orange line, that is a competitor, and my client was blue line. And take a look what happened. The orange guys once called me and say like, can you tell us? I was like, I have NDA, I cannot. Yeah, migration from the blog or any other subdomain that you have there inside the folder can help you, especially for established websites like the one I was working on. And this is pretty much what I have for today. Just want to say a big thank you very much, and let's catch up on LinkedIn.